With sex with a woman?
Yes.
How frequent?
So I like to
in a dating way or in just a feeling?
No, we're just messing around. I think for me, I call myself a trisexual because I'll try things. No, seriously.
Okay, no, we've got a new one.
No, I honestly believe I'm a trisexual. I'll try.
That with icebreakers, ne?
Okay.
So these icebreakers, you must you are free to explain. Ne?
Okay.
If you feel real corner, but you have to choose one.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay.
Mashobani or Vuskeke?
I'm a Pheli kid, Mashobani, obviously.
Right. Gym or diet?
Oh hell no, diet gets off.
Sharp. Vusma 5 Ranta or DJ Somebody?
My R5 any day.
Nelspruit or Rustenbeck?
Shit. Well, Rustenburg's closer to home, so let's go with that.
Okay. Paris or London?
Ish. Okay, I'll choose Paris because of the food, and I love food.
Okay.
And wine. So, yeah.
Alright. Avatar or Black Panther?
None.
You have to choose one.
Oh my goodness. Okay, so let's go with Black Panther. Avatar's not my thing.
Okay, it's fine. Makeup or cologne?
Cologne. Definitely cologne.
Tattoos or piercings?
Okay, I have to choose one. Okay, let's go with piercings because I have more of that.
Oh, okay. Piercings. Bums or boobs?
I'd say bums, although life hasn't favored me. It's given me the opposite. But let's go with bums.
You love bums more than boobs?
Yes.
Mukhawa or Kismaton? You have to choose one.
I know, kissy sharp.
A 6-pack or a beard?
A beard.
A beard. Alright, no, it's fine. We got that out of the way. Sharp. Now, tell me your name, surname, where you from,
Okay.
and the reason you think you're here.
Home Affairs knows me as Tsholo Chipape. However, I go by Tsholo or Spirit, depending on how you know me. But yeah, born and raised Pheli, obviously boarding school brat, so that doesn't count. But yeah, always been a Pretoria kid.
Okay, and the reason you think you're here?
Probably because like I met this guy who wanted to talk to me because I just talk too much. So maybe that's the reason. Let's go with that.
All right, sure. I'm interested in Pheli. For someone who's in Pheli, would want to know street names and section of Pheli. Which side of Pheli are you representing?
Okay, so for those who are familiar with Pheli, I'm from a section about Ostata. Street specifically Kimudisakeng. So that's closer to this vibey place about Tubu. Yeah, sure. I'm around that area.
Alright, sure. So we spoke yesterday.
Yeah.
And I told you are automatically an HIV activist.
Yes.
Do you want to before you start telling me your story?
Yeah. Because
it's an interesting story. Do you've got any stereotypes about people who are HIV AIDS that you would want people to know?
I had before I was actually
I want
infected.
You to take them out to say no.
So there's a whole lot. I mean, there's the idea of someone getting infected and automatically getting skinny.
Yes.
There's the idea of people who are infected, who are aware, who are not in treatment, but are okay with just spreading this.
Yeah. So wait. So are you saying the myth is if you've got if you are skinny you might have AIDS? It's not true.
No.
Okay. You're saying is it skin treatment?
No, with skin treatment, look, there are people who experience like breakouts or whatever. I mean, I only started experiencing breakout when I started my treatment, but it was only for, I think, the first 3 months or so.
Oh.
But that was one of the side effects. Although there's a lot, but not everyone goes through all of them.
So how many years have you been on treatment?
So this is my 4th year.
Okay.
Yeah, this is my 4th year, and I actually started my treatment as a birthday present to myself.
Oh, that's brilliant. Okay,
Yeah.
tell me about your story. So, just that any way you want to start, but
Yeah.
just explain how you got it. So just go into the point as much as possible.
Okay, so I was one person who I was just frantic about constantly testing, right?
Okay.
So I'd go in for my birth control shot, but I'd want to get tested. And not that I was messing around
Yeah.
having unprotected sex,
Sure.
but I always wanted to know where I was,
Sure.
right? And I got into a relationship with someone having tested less than a month before that. I think emotions and everything kind of clouded my judgment.
Yeah.
So I trusted the person only to find out that this would be the same person who would infect me.
Yeah.
And I found out because, yes, I was in a serious relationship with this person, but I was seeing someone else.
Yeah.
And he was aware of that,
Yeah.
right? So with this other person that I was seeing, he is someone who is married.
Yeah.
So whenever we would get together, we would normally do tests before we get intimate, even though we'd use protection, but just as a precaution. And yeah, so we took the test and I had the shock of my life, and yeah.
It's an interesting story because because you would tell me, I don't want to disclose his identity, but you might want to, just for people to understand the perspective. So his profession and where you were and the setting and stuff, and how you find out.
So obviously, I can't name names.
Yes.
Because that would also require me to
Yes.
name the person who infected me, which is actually
Yeah.
a criminal offense if you out someone.
Yeah.
But I mean, look, I met this guy. He was very successful. He's a doctor. And look, we hit it off. We had been together for just over a year before I got into this serious relationship. And part of the reason why I got into this relationship was primarily because, look, I'm aware that you're married. I get that you live one in a different province.
Yeah.
So in terms of being emotionally available, he wasn't necessarily there, because at times where maybe I want to vent about something or talk about something, he's probably busy or ukuntu, you know. So he was unavailable emotionally, and obviously,
So
you feel lonely. You're a
played
person.
a
You're
proper
human.
side chick.
Yeah, no, I did it like professionally. Hey, like
you
never
were
got
the
caught.
MVP of side
you know,
chicks.
yeah, did it quite well.
Yeah.
But look, at the end of the day, I decided I want to get into a relationship with someone I could possibly see maybe every day, someone I could call. And unfortunately, the guy who I was dating at the time wasn't working. So he was very much available.
Yeah.
Which was different, right? So, I mean, yeah.
And you were working.
Yes,
at
I
the
was.
time you were working.
Yeah.
And then tell me about that arrangement that you were.
Oh no, yeah. So
Yeah.
we had a proper arrangement.
Yes.
My boyfriend and I.
Yes.
Because he knew should this guy call and say, look, I'm coming to Pretoria.
Yes.
No hesitation. I'm packing a bag. I'm leaving, and it wasn't.
So nigga played a proper side nigga.
Yeah, like he played the role of main nigga 90% of the
Yes.
time, but he knew there was like that 10% where he has to be side
I see,
nigga. You know,
player.
which is okay. I mean, at least he knew.
Yes,
I mean, how
yes.
many of us get into relationships and you're serious and
Yes.
kamomoto busy, but you have no knowledge. So
That's proper.
you knew exactly where I was going.
Yes.
So yeah. So I mean, when I came back, obviously,
Yes.
you know,
Yeah.
babes, let's go out. You know, date nights.
So he knew.
What do you
Lena, there was something in for him because what only loaded.
Yeah, but it wasn't necessarily a specific amount.
Yes.
He just knew it's not around your payday, babes,
Yes.
but reshapunya,
Yes.
you know, like whatever you need, don't worry, babes, like I got you.
So Lena, he
Resha.
benefited from being
Yes,
the side nigga.
yes, he did.
Oh, that's
he did.
proper. I like how, and there was no GBV.
No, not
Because
at
it was
all.
proper. It was,
No,
it was adults
it was
understanding their
consensual.
roles.
Yeah, everybody knew where they fit in. It was okay.
That's proper.
It was okay.
You wish everything could be like that.
You know.
Yeah.
I mean, if even if he had to say he wanted another girlfriend, I was gonna be like, okay. But she must just know, like, she's seeing you on Tuesday and Thursday.
Yeah,
Because, like,
because
Monday, Wednesday, Friday is mine, you know?
And then, how did you find out?
So, like I explained briefly, in the beginning, I was testing with this side piece of mine.
Who bought the rapid test?
He did.
He did, because he was a medical professional.
You know.
Okay.
He's got the hookup and
Yes.
if he bought them.
Yeah.
But yeah, so he came with them and we're like, okay, cool. I mean, I'm here having my glass of wine.
One thing, just hold. Are you at liberty to disclose which one, the brand of the rapid test?
Not that I can recall now,
okay, no,
because I mean, at that time, I think that was the last thing on my mind.
I can imagine.
I was just like, shit, there's 2 lines, you know?
Yeah.
And he was like, no, don't panic. It's okay. Let's do another one. Let's see how that comes out, because sometimes you get false positives or whatever. And I'm like, this nigga is trying to give me hope, but I am panicking over here, right?
And at the time, you have done it before.
Yeah,
you have
I've done it
successfully
before. Yeah, and it's been
fine.
like, you know?
Yeah.
So, okay, cool. We do this test for the second time, and shit, there's 2 lines again. So I'm like, okay, now we've got a bit of a problem, right? So he says to me, no, I know that you said to me there's a guy you're seeing now and whatever. I've got some more tests. Please do me a favor. When you get home, go to a doctor or a clinic with this guy, get tested. If you guys are not comfortable doing that at a doctor or a clinic, I can give you the tests that I have.
Yeah.
And then you guys can home test. So I was like...
So the dog was mature about it.
Yeah, he was very mature about it. I mean, we still talk till this day.
Yeah.
But I think for him, it was a bit easier considering he's in that profession to understand certain things. For me, my head was just spinning. Like I was going crazy.
You're the one at the receiving end.
You know, I was going crazy. I was already imagining like I'm gonna wake up skinny tomorrow,
Yes.
and oh my goodness, no.
Yeah.
And batho batla
Sure,
you know,
sure.
because I think that's the one thing that kills
That
us the
kills, of
most.
course.
Batho batla reng.
Sure.
And half the time, batho ba warang ka bona le bona, they don't even know their status. So
True that. True that. So it is a night prepared for banging.
yeah, like it's a proper romantic
And the setting
night.
is there.
When I have just taken a shower, he's in the shower, I've just ordered food, you know,
Yeah.
the delivery comes through, got my glass of wine, we're in some hotel somewhere, I've got a spa treatment booked for the next day, you know.
Yo.
It's yeah, flaws and all.
Sure.
But then this happens. And I think it's the one thing I'll still respect him for till this day.
Yeah.
Because as much as he didn't freak out,
Yeah.
it was easy for him to like book another room
Yes.
or, you know, like Uber
Yeah.
me back
Sure.
but he literally said, no, I want you to stay. And we cuddled
Yes.
the entire night. And I was like, shit, something's wrong with you. You know? Something is definitely
Okay, wait.
off
He
with
didn't
you.
hit,
No, we didn't have sex that night.
and he didn't try. Okay, let's say
I-
if he wanted to, would you have?
I mean, obviously, had he wanted to, I think maybe we would have gone ahead. But I think he also didn't want to because he wanted to put me at ease.
Okay.
It's not necessarily that he's freaked out. I think it was just trying to put me at ease. So
No, I'm thinking. I mean, he longed for it for many weeks
you
without
know,
getting it.
like we've been
And
planning
then
this
when-
for like a month. Or okay, I'm coming end of the
when
month.
the time comes, a little bomber
Then
and
it's
a
like
boom.
Yeah, you know.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, it's fine. But then you walk out from there, and then Le Shapu, he travels back to his home province and sort of continue with life, and then the confrontation with the side nigga. How does it go?
The main nigga, you mean?
No. Remember.
Okay, but because this one jumped on
Yes,
yeah,
yeah.
okay, no, I understand the reference.
So the classic guy is the side nigga, yes.
Yeah. So yeah, he leaves. I mean, it's the next morning. I'm panicking. I'm freaking out in an Uber from Sandton to Pheli. I'm freaking out the entire way.
Yes.
I get here and I'm like, look, we need to have a conversation, right?
Yeah.
It's like, look, keep busy, 1-2-1-2, but let's link up later. I'm like, cool. But he doesn't necessarily know what I want to talk to him about.
Yes.
So when I get there, I'm very me as he knows me, you know? We get relaxed, we're chilling on the bed, a series or whatever, and I'm like, I need us to do a test.
You tell him.
Yeah. I'm like, I need us to do a test because something is definitely off. I did a test a month ago. I have the picture. So I would normally take a picture after getting tested, right? So I'm like, I have a picture. Literally, this is a day stamp from the time I tested.
Yes.
So you're the only person I've been intimate with since then. So I think we need to do a test. But to put you at ease, let me do mine first. And then while we wait for my results, I'll do yours. And he's like, cool. So I do mine, and
The rapid test came from the dog?
Yes.
Okay, sure.
Like I had about 4 of them.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, cool. So I did my test, and as we're waiting for the results, I did his. Once I did his, my results were ready, right? So it came out positive. Now he starts panicking.
About his?
Yes. So for me, it's like, okay, sharp. One, we've obviously done one each.
Yeah.
I'm going to do a second one each, and we'll have an indication of where we are.
Yes.
And from there, I think, let's figure out what we're doing, right? So we did that, and I'm like, okay, so I'm going to go get my blood work done. I'm going to go to the doctor tomorrow, get tested, send it to the lab, all of that, wait for my results. I would suggest you do the same. And also, as much as we're like pretty happy and all of that, should you feel maybe the relationship is going south, please don't do me any favors by sticking around because we're in the same situation. Like, if you want to leave, babes, let's part ways. Bela, you know,
Yeah.
without fights, none of that. So that little tomorrow, I think we can actually say hi to each other and be cool, which we are right now.
Yeah.
So yeah, eventually, it took less than 2 weeks, and we had gone our separate ways. And
Did he admit?
no, I mean, obviously he acted pretty shocked,
Yeah.
but.
What, you reckon he knew before?
Yes. And my reasoning with that is when we broke up, he went back to his ex. So someone he was dating before me, right?
Oh.
But now with them getting back, I had no issue with that. It's just that personally, with finding out I'm positive, I think dating was the last thing on my mind.
Yeah.
Because it's something that I haven't necessarily dealt with. I'm still at that point in denial stage.
Yeah.
And to get with somebody else that you've been with, that you dated for a while, means even when you get back together, the most logical thing to do is to get tested before you obviously get intimate without protection. But we know that's not always what happens, right?
Yeah.
So till this day, they're still together. So my question was, if you didn't know, then how was it so easy for you to get into the relationship and ease into it, and you guys are just okay?
But he never confessed that.
No, he didn't. And I think till this day, I got rid of the idea of confronting him about it.
Yeah.
I felt just let it go, you know.
Yeah.
Right now, it's no longer about him
Who got
focus
it from
on you. Yeah, because look, at the end of the day,
But maybe that you guys are cool about it.
no, we're very
Yes.
cool. And also another thing is I strongly believe that no one wakes up and knocks on some random door and asks for HIV, right? Nobody asks for it. So for me, I think the most important thing for me to do right now is when I get into a situation that could potentially lead me to being intimate with this person or a relationship or whatever, I disclose from the onset.
Okay.
Because I'm in the situation, purely based on the fact that nobody was honest with me. Somebody wasn't honest with me, right? So I can't be this person to be dishonest with the next person, because the only thing I'm doing is repeating the cycle constantly, you know?
No, I understand.
Yeah.
Okay,
It's
let's
a
talk
lot.
about your schools. Let's reset a bit.
Yeah.
We'll get back to the age stories. The school that you went to?
So I went to boarding school, like I said initially, for 10 years, primary and high school. I went to Lord Milner as the primary school, and high school I went to Settlers Agricultural High School. Then I went to...
Is the primary school also in Settlers?
Yeah, they're literally next door each other.
Okay.
So they're sister schools. So the most natural thing to do is go from grade 7 and then go on to grade 8 next door, right?
Okay, yeah.
But I took a bit of a break because I went to Cornerstone. My mom wanted me closer to home. And yeah, that didn't really work out because I didn't enjoy being close to home.
Oh.
So,
It took away
so
your
then I
freedom.
went back,
Yeah.
you know. I think it was just different. I wasn't used to being with my mom every day in the house. Because remember, initially, the reason why I went to boarding school in the first place, because I mean, I started boarding school in grade 3.
Yeah.
The reason why I went to boarding school in the first place is because my mom was traveling a lot.
Oh, okay.
And with her being out of the country, I'd have to be with like some aunt or, you know.
Yeah.
And then their parenting skills are different. So yeah, it didn't work out. So the idea of boarding school for me was great.
Yeah. Okay, tell me what happened in your matric year.
Shit. Oh, matric was amazing because it was very eventful.
Yeah.
So I got smart end of my grade 11 year and figured, hey, you know, I can hook up with this guy.
Yeah.
Guy is working, has his life together, he's got a car, you know, he's got his own place. So I would literally sneak off on certain nights to this guy's house, right? At the time, I was living with my aunt because she lives literally 30 minutes away from Settlers.
Okay.
So I was living with my aunt, and she is a nurse, so she'd work like night shifts. So then I'm home alone, you know. Yeah. Messed around with this guy, and I got pregnant.
When do you think you conceived in the year? When about which month?
Well, my daughter was born in August, so I
must have been the
conceived
previous-
like December-ish, November-ish.
You had a visit.
Yeah, like somewhere there, you know. And well, my family didn't know I was pregnant.
Yes.
Like they literally didn't know. I think they proper found out when my aunt asked me. I mean, she walked into my room, I was changing. This was my matric year.
Yeah.
So I come back from school, I'm getting out of my uniform, you know. And she barges into my room and wanted to send me somewhere or ask me something, you know. And shit, here's this big belly.
Who's that? Your mother?
My aunt.
Your aunt, okay.
Yeah, I remember at the time I was living with my aunt, Bela Bela. Yes.
Yeah.
So my aunt walks in and boom, this one is pregnant. So she sees my stomach. I mean, there's that dark line you can't ignore, you know. So this is obviously pregnancy.
Yes.
And she's like, are you pregnant? And I'm like, yeah. Coincidentally, the day she found out I was pregnant, I was actually contemplating suicide, and that was the day of the execution. And she walked in just before I could get things set up.
Wait.
Yeah, I contemplated suicide. I think...
Wait, you had shit planned together?
Yeah, no, I had shit planned together. I had like a whole box of sleeping tablets that I knew I was going to take, and like a bunch of painkillers and all of that stuff, you know. So I'm one person, I'm very, as loud as I am, as much as I love people, I have moments where I'm very to myself. Yeah. So I think she knew that as well, and it would have been the best plan because, I mean, I would have been just having time to myself. But I probably wouldn't have woken up, you know, or I would have woken up in a hospital. But then again, I'm still naive. I mean, the plan was not properly thought out, but it was a plan at the time. So she walks in, she sees the baby bump, she gets emotional. I can't handle it. So she started crying, and I was like, I guess, Like, this I can't deal with. So in the time that I left the house, she had like a bit of a gap to speak to my mom about this. And I just remember getting an SMS, and my mom is like, you decided to be a woman, so do me a favor. When you get back home, pack all of your and get out of my house. Right? So now I'm
like
thinking,
that.
yeah, because like my mom was very strict.
Yeah.
All my friends thought my mom was the coolest, right?
Yeah.
Growing up, I hated it because towards me she's super strict.
Yeah.
So I didn't get the cool part that they were seeing.
So siblings, how many are you?
I'm an only child. Yeah. I am an only child.
Sure.
So yeah, that happened, and I mean, I remember just making peace with the fact that fuck. Okay, so that's fine. I'm only gonna need to deal with this in December when I go home for the holidays, when I'm done with matric.
Yes.
So I was like, fuck this. Okay, so now this is what I have to deal with. It's fine. Let me just make lemonade, right? So I get back. My aunt is like, so how far along are you? I'm like, 8 months. She's like, what?
So were you going to those prenatal stuff?
Yeah, I was going to the doctor.
You sneaking?
No, I was going to... I didn't go to a gynae. I went to a GP.
Okay.
I didn't go to a gynae. But remember, at that time, I was still on my mom's medical aid. So consultations weren't really questioned.
Okay.
And yeah, so like I'd randomly just go down to the doctor, ultrasound, all of that. And I remember at some point I wanted to know if I was having a boy or a girl. And yeah, no, we had a struggle with it because my doctor kept saying, like, your kid has got the legs crossed. We don't know. We can't see, But yeah, so I think that was also another thing that worried my aunt, that, look, I haven't really seen you go into a gynae or...
So when did you give birth?
In August 2011, on the 12th. So literally, I think 3 weeks after I broke the news to my... Well, 3 weeks after my aunt found out.
Sure.
Yeah.
And you went on to write your matric exams?
Yeah, so what they do in our school is you'd have... Obviously, like the school term, the third term.
Let me understand. Were you showing? Because your aunt couldn't see you.
No, because remember...
At school, did they know?
No, they didn't. Oh. Because remember, I gave birth in August. So by the time I proper started showing, it was like winter, And also, I used to wrap my stomach. So when I got dressed in the morning, like I'd put on my clothes, I'd wear like a camisole, and then I'd wrap like whatever over that camisole, like a waist trainer or whatever, something like that, to sort of compress it, and then put on like a jersey or... I didn't know much better at that point. I mean, at that point...
Even who gave you that trick?
I don't know. I sort of figured it out. Because there's always this thing when we grew up where after you have a baby, so that you don't have like a...
After.
Yeah, so I figured if it works after, it will probably prevent excessive growth. So, yeah. And I remember my doctor once asked me about it. He's like, dude, I'm worried because your stomach is like pretty small. And I'm like, yeah, well, there's nothing I can do about it. But I know exactly what I'm doing, And it's clearly working. So, yeah.
And you give birth end of August?
Mid-August, so the 12th August, yes.
Full weight, normal weight?
So, my physical weight, I think I went from like a size 30 to a size 32. But it wasn't drastic because I could still wear all my clothes. Like I didn't need to buy anything. Yeah, I've always been a skinny. Always been a skinny child. And that thing came out heavy, 3.6 kgs out of that small tummy. Yeah, I know. I know.
Okay, so the baby's fine now.
No, fine and healthy. When I came out kicking and screaming, it was good. Yeah.
And now matric year.
So
the year that you need to write.
Yeah, so we had this break in third term where we do like all of our schoolwork and all of that, and then there's a week where we get off as matriculants to prepare for the matric farewell. So we'd get like 4 days, and then on the Friday would be the matric farewell, and then obviously weekend, and then come Monday we start our trial exams.
Okay.
So ironically, I gave birth on the night of my matric farewell. Yeah.
What, like how? Did you go to the farewell?
No, I didn't.
Okay.
No, I had no plans to go in any case. I had no plans to go because I knew.
Yes.
I mean, I knew I was pregnant.
Yeah.
How was I going to look in a whole dress with a big bump?
So your people at school still didn't know?
No, they didn't know. But I think another thing that kind of helped me out is I think there were 4 of us who were pregnant, right, at the same time. There was one who was pregnant with twins. There was a friend of mine who was pregnant. There was another one who was pregnant. And then I was the other one that was pregnant.
Yeah.
But now, these 3 were very vocal about their pregnancy.
Plus minus your age at the time? You and the other?
No, I mean, I was 17. I was 17 in my matric year.
And then the others plus minus the same age, right?
I had just turned 17.
Yes.
They were either 17 turning 18 or already turned 18. Right?
Yeah.
So I was the youngest of the group.
Yes.
But because I wasn't necessarily talking about it or wearing like fitted uniform where it actually shows, they were the topic of conversation, and I just let it happen until
through the grapevine.
Yeah, and eventually, I mean, I think 8 months, that's where I couldn't hide anymore, because even my accounting teacher, which is one of those teachers that everybody hated, they were afraid of, but somehow, like, we clicked,
Yeah.
And she pulled me to the side and she's like, oh my goodness. I'm like, what? She's like, there's this whole conversation happening in the staff room. Teachers are saying you're pregnant, and I told them that's bullshit. And I'm like, it's true. It is true. And she's like, what? So how long?
Wait, so it's the Friday and then you give birth?
So I gave birth on the Friday. But remember, by this time, my family has already found out, right? So my aunt is already putting plans together to get somebody to help me out during the day when I go to school. Someone who's going to look after the baby. Like, so we need to get a nanny or whatever, right? So we have that week off. So from the Monday. And I mean, Friday midnight, I start getting labor pains. But I'm thinking, it's just cramping. Like, it's not that painful, So I go to sleep. In the morning, I think around 7-ish, I realize, now my contractions are super hectic now, But still, I mean, I'm packing a bag for me and the baby, and I call an ambulance for myself, and they come through, and I am walking, and the paramedics are like, so who's the patient? I'm like, me. And they're like, okay, so what's the problem? I'm like, I'm going into labor. And they're like, no, but like, your tummy's still a bit small. I mean, maybe it's just Brixton Hicks, like, false labor pains, nothing major. I'm like, I'm going into labor.
When are you knew?
I knew, because I knew exactly when I was supposed to go into labor.
That's Friday night.
Yeah, that's Friday night.
The weekend?
Monday morning, get into my uniform, go to school, write my trial exams.
No one knows.
I mean, by then everybody knew.
Oh.
Everybody had already found out by then, even at school, because I obviously confirmed it to this teacher, and she had to then disclose to other teachers who. And
you've got Kaya from Pheli who went with you at school?
Yeah, but I mean, I think in my grade there weren't that many.
Yeah.
But I mean, going to school in Limpopo, everybody from Pretoria came Kai.
Yes.
So. Yeah.
So when did the news hit Kasi?
Kasi, I'm not sure, because remember at that point, because I've gone to boarding school for so many years, I hadn't necessarily built like friendships around. Yeah, understand. There were like 1 or 2.
Yes.
But I mean, I hadn't really had like a big friend group because akakhula lebona in a sense. Days and all of that.
Sure.
So yeah.
All right. You do your exams. You nail them.
Yeah.
And
then it's school holidays, and then you go back for 4th term, finish off the term, write your finals. Yeah.
And then you go to your finals.
Yeah.
And then what happens?
And I wrote my finals, and I was good. I got my bachelor pass.
You cross your fingers, the results come.
I didn't even cross my fingers, because the thing is, like, I strongly like my baby's a blessing. Like, that kid made me smart.
Yeah.
Because in my entire matric year, academically, I was in the top 3. Okay. In every single term, right? Okay. So I didn't have I didn't have interest in watching TV when I was pregnant. I don't know why. Like, I had zero interest in watching TV. I would actually find more comfort in my books.
Oh, okay.
So I think going into my finals as well, I wasn't nervous because I knew I had already done what I needed to do to get to that point.
You gave birth in August?
Yeah.
When do you think you knew that you were pregnant?
I pretty much knew the first month I was pregnant because I couldn't pull in my stomach.
Even?
Yeah, like, malaka na stage, like, you know, look, breathe
and you
in,
knew what
like,
you did.
breathe in Nepal, and like, guys, this
so you
thing,
started the year knowing.
yeah, I knew, but guys, also this thing of morning after pills, people mustn't lie to you. These things don't work sometimes, because I had one within the 24 hours. I drank one within the 24 hours, right? And yeah. 9 months later, surprise! You know? For real.
Tell me, this is the part I've always wanted to know. You've got your bag.
Yes.
Do you have the pills? You have medication?
Oh no, I don't have it with me. I don't carry it with me.
Okay, so it's, you.
There's no
when
need.
Do you take it?
So I drink it at 7 in the morning.
7 in the morning.
Yeah, there are people who prefer to drink it at night. Okay. I drink my ARV at 7 in the morning.
Yes.
Because I'm a big social butterfly. So my time of coming home every day might not be the same. That's the thing. Yes. So I think to avoid I stepped out, we're going somewhere, but I forgot my pills.
Oh, okay.
So I usually take it in the morning, and then I know it gives me like a few hours before I either start drinking or whatever.
The reason I wanted to ask is I wanted to see it physically, maybe other people to see it. But the purpose was, so when you might have started 2018, right?
2019.
2019.
Yeah.
Because I heard that previously there were many.
Yeah, there were a lot.
And they said there was this one that when you take it, you're bound to go dizzy. So that's why people prefer to take it at night. Is it true?
So it's what I was saying in terms of side effects, right? Initially, when I started my treatment, it's not the same for everybody, right? So I got the ARV, and then there were 2 pills that I was taking to boost my CD4 count because it was actually pretty low. I think usually when it's healthy for someone who is...
Sorry to interrupt. Mm-hmm. So how long from when you knew to when you started taking?
So I found out around October.
Yes.
I was in denial from October, November, December, January. And then I think I woke up one day and I looked at myself in the mirror and I was like, babes, this is not you, hey? Like, this is not you.
Okay.
So I think in Feb, I was fortunate enough to come across a very good friend of mine who said to me, look, well, I asked her, like, I want to start treatment. I just found out and all of that, right?
You telling the friend?
Yeah, so I'm telling this friend of mine.
At the time, your mom knew?
Yeah. So my mom is actually the reason why I have as much confidence as I have today to talk about it without wondering what about Tubatari. Sure. Because initially when I broke the news to my mom, I mean, we were at home having drinks and whatever, so I pulled her to the side and I said, look, babes, I need to talk to you. I just found out I'm HIV positive. And then she says to me, okay. I'm like, did you hear what I said?
Yeah.
She's like, yeah. So what? And I'm like, wait, what do you mean, so what? Like, this is a major thing. She's like, no. What makes you think I'm not HIV positive? And I'm like, wait, are you trying to tell me something? She's like, no, I'm not saying I am. What I'm saying to you is because I am bigger built.
Yes.
She's a thick lady.
Yeah.
I'm bigger built. You suddenly assume that I'm not HIV positive because I haven't lost weight. All of those things that are stereotypes. Yes. And you think you're going to experience all of these things because you found out you're positive. You expected to see that from me, right? I'm not HIV positive for the record. Yes. However, stop worrying about what other people are going to say. I think look after yourself, and that's all that matters. We're not in the dark ages anymore where we know, or about 6 months around May, update the police, But yeah, so I mean, yeah, I think my mom was a huge confidence booster. And there's a friend who lives very close to my house who, she was even willing to take me to the clinic.
That friend that you confided in?
No, that was a different friend.
Okay.
But the one I spoke to before I spoke to my mom, she was even willing for us to go to the clinic. And so that if anybody needed to ask what we were doing at the clinic, she would say no, she was going for herself, right? Sure. To cover up for me. But I mean, I didn't want that because now there's going to be rumors running around about how you are possibly HIV positive because they saw you going into the chronic section of the clinic,
Oh, and that's another problem, right?
Yes. So I was like, you know what? Because I've spoken to you and you are so chilled about it as a friend of mine, I think maybe it's time I should talk to my mom. Yeah. So I went ahead and had the conversation with my mother, and she's like, look, go do what's best for you, look after yourself. If everybody else who's talking about it, who's trying to figure out what's going on with your life, look after you first, because if anything, you've got a child as well. Remember what you're teaching her in your actions. So it was very important for me to go ahead and take this step. So this other friend that I referred to initially, she's the one who said to me, look, I work at the clinic. So if you're this nervous about the process, it's fine. Come through tomorrow morning at this time. I'll take you from every single step, from opening your file to where you need to go after that, to where you go from there. And I'll do that for several months until you get comfortable in the process. And I think so she helped a lot. Yeah, she helped a lot. I think I would have been one of those people who got to the clinic and said, like, I'm here to test. I would have whispered.
So what do you... That's why I've put this question. I'm always thinking, are people who are willing to go, but are unable to because those guys at that clinic, I know they're here.
Unfortunately, because you're not only worried about Batwaku clinicing talking. Your biggest worry is somebody who clinicing is going to recognize you, right? And going to tell the next person. And that person will tell the next person. And all of a sudden, Kukasi is known Horwalwala. Because you haven't made peace with it personally, right? So the last thing you want is to go out and then feel like people are gossiping about you and now they know and you were trying to keep it a secret. The biggest thing, and this is a common thread amongst a lot of people I've spoken to who are now living openly with HIV. The biggest thing we worry about is batho batlare.
Yeah, and someone told me this process of taking medication is so, I don't want to say intrusive, it's so, if you're not ready, you will not go and take, because they say people would know at a certain section that if I'm in hospital, I could be sitting at a safe area, but I would see everyone crossing and you passing that door, going to that side. It's in itself, it's a confirmation.
Yes, because remember how the clinic is set up. Is you have the initial room that you walk into, which is the waiting area, right? So that's where your files get pulled. Then they get divided. So usually, I don't know, but with the clinic I go to, you have your little clinic card. There's baskets on the counter. So there's a basket for mother-baby consultations. There's the dentist, there's the chronic department, there's pill collection, so it's all of these different baskets, right? Now, you imagine walking in, as nervous as you are about anybody knowing what you're doing. You take your card, you put it into the chronic basket, right? The person taking it out of that basket on the other side of the desk happens to be your neighbor, right? They already know if you're going to the chronic department, it's hypertension, diabetes, TB, HIV, those chronic diseases. So it must be one of. But they're already assessing you like, okay, so you're not coughing, so it's not TB.
Yeah.
You know, like, okay, we see you losing weight, so we're not sure if it's diabetes, but this one is probably AIDS. You know,
Yeah.
that's the misconception.
So, but the physical file is there in a way.
So the physical file, they don't necessarily.
Are the words that those people working at the hospital they know, or?
Yeah, obviously. I mean, in order for me to consult, you need to go through my file.
Yes.
You need to understand where my blood pressure has been, my temperature during COVID, all of that stuff. You need to know my weight and everything.
Either way, you still have to physically walk.
Yes. So what they do at reception is they confirm that it actually is your file, and then they update certain sheets where like your nurses would be writing on to update everything, right? So they close the file and they stack them up for different departments. There's this one person who every 30 minutes takes a batch of those files to that specific department. Now, when they call out your name, they don't give you your own file. It's in that stack. They just give you the little card that you use, and you go to the specific department, and the stack follows you, and you are somewhere in that stack, right? Yeah. So now walking from reception, from that waiting area, it's literally like an open passage, and there's different departments, and every department is labeled. That's the thing. So if you see me walking from the waiting area to something that has a big board saying chronic section, like, you've already diagnosed me, you know, with whatever you think I might have.
You know what's funny? Leaving that topic, coming to another one.
Yeah.
You know Magic Johnson?
Yeah.
So Magic Johnson came out 1991, I think, and he's proof that, well, if you take your medication well,
yeah,
your life expectancy is as normal.
It extends, yeah. I mean.
And with cancer, if he was diagnosed with cancer in 1991, he would have long.
That's the thing. Cancer is like, it's more hectic than.
Yes. But the shame.
Yeah, the stigma is within HIV and not cancer.
Everyone always assumes if someone has AIDS, it means that person has been sexually promiscuous, right?
Yeah, that's what I mean. I think that's why I understand why there is a stigma around HIV. So, I mean, everybody gets it in your different ways, right? There are many ways to get it. But the misconception is you got it because you were irresponsible. Mm-hmm. So, in a way, people view it as you chose to go get that, right? Yeah. Because then the question raised, why didn't you use a condom? Why didn't you do this? Why didn't you do that? You know, because like in life, but it's okay. Yeah. Whereas with cancer, no one's gonna actually come to you and say, but you know you got it because like you smoke a lot. Oh, by the way, I smoke. Yes. So no one's gonna say like you got it because you smoke a lot. Hey, maybe if you didn't smoke, no, everybody just feels sorry for you because they realize it's that hectic where. I mean, people are told that you have less than 6 months. No, I'm going to do that. Yeah. People are told you have less than 6 months. I mean, how do you make peace with letting go of someone, knowing exactly when they're supposed to go? Yeah. You know?
So in your case, when people suspect what could have gotten it, where you could have gotten it, did you ever experiment with drugs?
No. No, I think I've been fortunate enough not to. I think the only thing I've done is weed. Okay. But everything else, I've tried ecstasy, but I realized like some of the stuff is not for me. I think because I'm naturally very bubbly, very loud, very active, I've never needed to, you know.
So tell me, so you tried it once and then you felt it?
Yeah, I realized it's not for me.
So how do you take ecstasy?
So there are these little pills. I've tried it. Superman, they're pink. Yes. Right? Small pills. And you literally just swallow the pill and it's supposed to give you some buzz, right? Okay. But I mean, I think I ended up drinking about 8 of these pills in one night and I was like, nothing is happening. The only thing this is doing is making my mouth dry. So this is not for me. And then people around me who are also taking it, like, I mean, the guy who was driving us home saw a cow and there was nothing, you know? Oh. So it has different effects on people. It's like alcohol. Yeah. There are certain people who are introverts. Yeah. But once you drink, your thing is loud, and you know, and maybe it's because they need that liquid courage to become that.
Yeah.
For me, I feel like whether drunk or sober, I'm still the very same loud person. It doesn't change me in any way. So I just realized, okay, this stuff is not for me. It really isn't for me.
Have you ever experimented with sex with a woman?
Yes.
How frequent?
So I like to
in a dating way or in just a feeling?
No, we're just messing around. I think for me, I call myself a trisexual because I'll try things. No, seriously.
Okay, no, we've got a new one.
No, I honestly believe I'm a trisexual. I'll try things. Yeah. For me, I'm one of those people who I'm not gonna kill it until I've tried it.
Okay.
Because how do you know it won't work for you if you don't?
Sure.
You know? So I tried it and I was like, okay, it's cute, but it's a bit awkward for me, you know?
Okay, like, wait. So this person was a person from the rainbow community, or
openly lesbian. Okay. But I was like, I don't know, like. And I'm not shaming anyone. I mean, different strokes for different folks, right?
So you didn't enjoy the
yeah, I really didn't. Yeah. And I was like, okay, cool. I respect people who do that, but yeah, no. And maybe the experience, maybe I'm killing the experience, right? Yes. Maybe the experience wasn't the problem. Yeah. Maybe the person was the problem. No, in a sense where maybe I wasn't as attracted to that person. Okay. But it's something I would try again. Like, I'm not killing it. I will try it again.
So you're still open for it?
Yeah. Okay. Totally still open for it.
You don't want to restrict yourself, ne?
No. I'm a lover of love. And, I mean, I have a little cousin who asked me the other day, how would you feel if you found out I'm dating a girl? And I'm like, love is love, babes. Yeah. If this person makes you happy, then, hey, knock yourself out. Yeah. If 3 people make you happy at the same time, knock yourself out. It works for you. Yes. But I mean, it doesn't change the way I look at you as a person, because at the end of the day, you are still family to me. Your preferences don't change anything.
So here's the thing. Mm-hmm. So it's been like 4 years now?
Yeah.
Yeah, 4 years, 4 to 5 years now?
Yep.
Yes, with knowing your condition.
Yeah.
Tsholo the game.
Yo, guys.
No, so I want to understand.
Yo.
Now renyes are really grand.
Yes.
Okay, or renyes are not grand.
Yeah.
When now double. So I want to understand.
Look, double.
Majita looking at you one fresh. Oh, I see. Rudrile I test.
You wouldn't even think, yeah.
Yes, and then fresh one, and then when someone wants to get intimate with you, what happens?
I think in terms of Mojolo, yes. I complicated it for myself because I chose to be honest.
Oh.
So it's not as easy as meeting someone, you guys hit it off and great. Yes. So let's say for argument's sake, I'm at a party. Yes. I see this guy, I'm interested, right? I make my advances. Sure. Now there's either Utodumela or he's going to reject me, right? Let's say what you made. But now you have to wait for the possible second rejection, because I need to then start a conversation with this person to let them know, look, throw it out there, like I may be positive and whatever.
Wait. When do you do that?
In the initial stages of our conversation, before we even get intimate. Before we decide we're leaving together.
Let's say we're dancing, ne?
Yeah.
And you're lucky to maybe open a conversation with Toloka. And then he sees this, he comments, and then he wants in.
Yeah.
Do you say it then, or maybe you wait for a few days? After?
So no. So it depends on the setting. Now, I think another thing that's an advantage for me is the type of setting I hang out in. So what I've learned to do of late is somehow, I don't know why, but somehow the conversation comes up, right?
Yeah.
Regarding HIV, like somebody will bring it up. And obviously because, well, okay, living proof.
Yes.
I'll entertain the conversation and I'll disclose right then and there to whoever I'm around, right? Which means you are going to hear it. Okay. Now, even if like it flew over your head at that time, we're going to have a conversation, right? And it's something I'm going to tell you initially before you be you know, it's something you would have known.
Okay.
And I give you enough space to breathe after I tell you, so you can figure out if it's something you are actually ready for, right? Now, let's say, okay, maybe as when I get drinks, you decide you still want to pursue it. Great. But I'm one person, I'm big on condoms to a point where when I go out, I carry condoms in my bag. So that you don't have an excuse to say, I thought I had, but now I don't.
Use the key from that side. So, okay, so let me understand. Someone in the media just said, she's the lady, she said on Twitter, she has condoms in every facet of her life. Now are you that way?
So I carry condoms, especially when I go to a social space.
Okay.
I make sure I have like at least 3 condoms in my bag. So that like I don't want excuses about how and I want to feel like we don't stop to get them. And no,
and with you it's easier because even before the condom life was your life.
So even before, I was one of those who'd get frantic. Somewhere, let's stop by the garage.
Yeah.
If you don't want to be seen, hell, I'll go and buy those condoms myself because I know who to prefer which brands. And I'm not the type to get to the counter and whisper.
Yeah.
No. I'll tell you, like, this brand, that brand. Okay, Ella Nayon. Huna little blues, I think. You know?
Yeah.
I'm very picky. And also with the type of condoms guys use when I'm intimate with them. I hate studded condoms. I've always hated them.
Please tell us.
So for me, and it's different, there are people who prefer it.
Yeah.
When I use studded condoms, I know I need to buy lube.
Oh.
Because after some time, friction, I get super dry.
Oh.
Which is not pleasurable. Because at that point when I feel like wafika, and I'm like, nah, fam, like it's not happening.
Sure.
You know? So I've always hated studded condoms. Which is why I've always preferred to walk in and buy a specific brand that I prefer that has extra lube.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh. Okay. Someone once told me that the studded ones, they feel because it has extra layer coating. It's a bit safer than the thin ones.
Look, like I'm saying, different strokes for different folks,
Yeah.
right? There are guys out here who have beads in their genitals, right?
Yeah.
Of which, for other people it works. For others it doesn't. I mean, I've tried it, but it just feels like lunch bar. Because it's just like, you know. But for me, I feel like, okay, that's
Can
fine.
you feel it if he tricks you and pull it off during?
Yeah, because I'm okay. Shit, now we're getting super into my sex life. But okay, I'm one person who there are guys that would like to play with you with their fingers, right? I don't like it. I prefer to do it myself, right?
So you do yourself during?
Yeah. So like you get someone who wants to rub on your clit.
Yes.
I don't want you to rub on my clit. I do it myself. So in that time where I'm doing that, 2 of these fingers can feel the condom.
Oh,
yes.
So that's your trick. That's your trick.
So I can always feel that it's there.
Let me
so
see.
okay, cool. So you have a hand, right?
Yes. So this
So you've got your hand.
This one goes down.
Yeah. So this one goes literally on my clit, right?
Yes.
But with this one being on my clit, these 2 are here. So when these 2 parts wrap together, they can actually feel the condom.
Yeah, especially the top.
Yes, because that rubber. Yes.
Yeah.
So I can tell you it's slipping out. Not even. I'm the laziest of the bunch. Not even.
Okay. Yeah, but that's a trick.
So it's, and I think now with mastering that at an early stage, I know I'm conscious of it because as much as we're not a pozor or ropanna, you don't know why top or yes, and right now it's different because I'm at a point where my HIV is undetectable because I've been on medication for 4 years now. My viral load is super suppressed. So even if like we got rapid tests now and did them, my test is gonna come out negative.
And look, this is usually the most dangerous thing to say. And And I'm even afraid to say it here on the podcast.
Because it's going to make people irresponsible.
It's going to make people irresponsible.
Yeah.
And number two, YouTube once flagged my video out, and I don't want this to be, because they say it's medical misinformation. So I don't even want to go there. But there are talks around that responsible people would rather have talks about them, because I don't want this podcast to be...
Look, I'll summarize it very quickly in a very responsible manner, right? There is that, whoever can Google it, right? It's called U equals U, right? So,
U equals U.
Yeah, so undetectable, I can't infect you, right? So my issue is, people are forgetting that with you being undetectable and being unable to,
let's rather
you can get reinfected. That's the problem.
Yes, yeah.
So that's another thing. So let's not get into it.
Yeah. YouTube says the conversation we are having is irresponsible.
Yeah, because and it's deemed misinformation in a sense. Yeah.
And that's very dangerous.
Yeah.
And I've been flagged for that before, and I'm very afraid, because this is a very important topic.
Let's let it go.
But you guys are adults. You know what you should do. And you could go and research this, because we don't want this to be taken down because of that. Because even people, what people would do? Would say, I don't like what Tsholo has said in that spirit watanya.
Yeah.
Instead of challenging you to come here, and then they report the podcast.
Exactly.
I feel it's unfair, because
it is.
What you're doing helps other people.
Yeah.
Yeah. But look, be that as it may, now done. Is there anything that you want to say? Because now we're going to the stage where you're showing us your piercings and your tattoos.
Ha! Showing your piercings. Okay, at least mine are safe. Like all of them are. Yeah. Okay, so the only thing I actually want to say is, one, anybody who is living with HIV, please stop worrying what people are going to think about you.
Yeah.
Look after yourself. There's a lot of people on social media who are actually advocating for this, who are activists, who will give you like a lot of good advice, and our healthcare systems are, guys, like, a little more nice to us, because it's traumatic enough to have to go through something, then have to go through steps to look after yourself, but also get victimized when you get there, because it's part of the reason why people end up stop taking their treatment. And defaulting is a problem. Don't default on your medication, because the minute somebody pilisi and they see where they're getting better and they're almost back to their regular self, then they stop, which makes it worse, because olwala lufita after that. So please, guys, let's look after ourselves. And also, can we get to a point where even if your partner is negative, and now you're negative, treat everyone as if they are positive in order to look after yourself.
Also, meaning don't be too risky, because you might attract it.
Yes.
Okay, so tell me, this thing of testing people with their eyes.
Now that's crap. It's nonsense.
You know,
a lot of people that I know that are HIV positive are fat. They're living their best lives. Bajola ure.
They're happy.
Like, you wouldn't think ure.
Look, you being an activist, let's say whatever,
yeah,
and I'm dating someone who you think are sick.
Yeah.
And do you think you're at liberty to tell the other guy, or to come to me and say, Madam Chana, are you careful? Are you safe? Are you...
Well, first...
You think that's not your space?
No. First of all, telling the other person is illegal.
Yes.
It's illegal. Yeah, because you can actually sue somebody for outing you.
Yes.
Right? It depends. With me knowing you are positive, do I know because you told me?
Yes.
Or do I know because...
No, you know because we speak.
Then what I would do is come to you.
Yes.
Right? And say, look, friend, like, I've got friends, man, who are negative, but they can call me and say, babes, we're going out in the morning, right? We're You know, those are friends. Yeah. You know, those are friends I have, and I appreciate having them. So I think for the next person, with you having told me, I think my responsibility is to be your form of support, because there's a reason why you told me and not somebody else.
Sure.
Yes, I can remind you to be responsible, but at the end of the day, it is your responsibility as well.
Sure.
Right? I'm never going to out you to somebody else. It's not my place.
Sure.
As much as it is illegal, it's still not my place. Sure. It's not my place. So the best I can do as a friend or as someone who you can confide in is to simply constantly remind you to look after yourself.
All right. Now let's see the...
Oh, Washam, they're not exciting. Like, why are you getting excited?
No, because I want us to get to get it over. Remember, we spoke about that other thing.
Yeah.
But let's see.
Okay, so I've got a tat on my wrist. It says hope.
Hope.
So hope for Tsholo Felo.
Okay.
So, doesn't make sense for me to get my name written. I've got an ID for that.
Okay.
Piercings.
And we spoke about space for further ones. You want to do?
Oh yeah, definitely. So
Did you choose a spot?
No, I already have a spot in mind, but it requires a budget, guys. I want to cover my back, so I want to cover my back from my shoulders to my lower back.
Damn.
Yeah, like I want to do a full back tattoo.
Okay, plus minus.
So the last time there was a guy I asked, a friend of mine, and he was like roughly 5,000-6,000, right?
How many days?
It's not going to be done in one day, so I'm going to have to do like an outline of the top part.
Yes.
Let that heal. Come back at a different time, do maybe the outline of the bottom half of it, and then come back to do the shading of the top half, and then come back and do the shading of the bottom half because of the specific tattoo I want. So it's gonna take some time. So like over a month-ish or so, because usually it takes about a week for it to heal if you look after it properly.
All right, sharp. The piercings.
Piercings. So I've got my top ear, of course, obviously. My nose. I want to get a septum, which I'm kind of hoping I'll do this month. Yeah. Maybe for my birthday.
Show them.
I've got my tongue.
Yeah.
Yeah, got that.
No, you showed on that.
Yeah, no, I got my tongue. My nose I've actually pierced twice. I actually pierced the first time this side, and then I let it go because of boyfriend. And then I got it done again on the other side because I just figured, fuck, I did this because I wanted it in the first place. Okay. So for my birthday, I'm getting a septum piercing.
So those are the only ones on piercings you've done?
Yeah. I think, thing is also with my piercings, I don't plan them. Okay. I'll go somewhere like to a flea market and then walk past a tattoo parlor and I decide I want a piercing. And they're like, okay, where do you want it? I'm like, I don't know. And then someone will just suggest, okay, let's do the top of your ear. I'm like, okay, cool, let's do it. You know? Yeah. So I'm kind of cool with piercings. I'll do whatever. This is the only one that I actually really, really, really want.
Yeah. So and you ushapaka pain?
Yeah, I'm cool with pain. Hell, I get my blood drawn like ever so often. Good clinicking. Wait to pain. I'm not
the one with needles
and
stuff. Yeah.
I remember I had an experience. I mean, they had to draw blood, and I said this initially, like, please don't draw blood from here, because my veins are so good. Okay. They went ahead, but my so they had to pull out the needle. Came on this side. Same flipping result. Then they decided on this. So my veins actually show more like on my hands, right?
Yeah, okay.
So they decided on this side, and initially I had suggested this side. So they tried this side, great, they got it, but the blood wasn't coming out. When they came on this side, they had to fill like 4 tubes of blood, right? So they went ahead, filled all 4 very quickly. Yeah. All 4. And then I think the lady who was doing it was a bit slow, the needle. So karuruha, like I couldn't move my fingers afterwards. It took like a few hours for it to settle. But now when I left the clinic, now I look like I'm going through things. Drugs, Bluetooth, like, and it wasn't even the case.
Sharp, so look the Spirit, and your writing name is Spirit, right?
Yeah, so I'm Spirit from Pheli Riders, but yeah.
Yeah, no, thank you very much.
Thank you so much for having me.